Hello, beautiful people. I am Mary Jane. Welcome to Net Voices. Akon and Ne-Yo recently did interviews separately. They talked about being in a polyamorous relationship, which is a bit of a controversial topic. A lot of people have strong opinions about polyamorous relationship. Some describe it as a relationship for people that lack structure and discipline. It's performative and cringy. Why people in a polyamorous relationship disagree. They believe polyamorous relationship deserves to be accepted as normal. Here's a clip of Akon and Ne-Yo talking about being in a polyamorous relationship.
So you believe in polyamory?
Yeah, polyamory, yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I will say that I think there's a lot of people that's like, oh, polyamory.
Right.
I think we have to understand, because I've researched the hell out of polyamory,
Right.
is that I've seen that 82 to 85% of societies around the world at some point have allowed, practiced polyamory. Right. So I think we have to understand that the majority of the world at some point, societies practiced it. That's one.
Because polyamory is a natural behavior for men. This is a natural behavior. Now, because of the rules that sit around us, we control that behavior to, you could say, appease our partner because of the same rules that we're living by and that we're, you can say, agreeing upon. Does that make sense?
It does.
Because when you're single, it's not a problem. It's only when you are attached or you've promised someone that this is a relationship that we're supposed to hold in the rules that you decide to hold it in, if that makes sense.
All right. Do your wives, can they have multiple partners?
No.
So only you can have multiple partners.
Man, yeah.
But in another setup, you're fine with the wife having other partners.
I mean, if that's a setup that works for them. The culture that we came up in Africa, culture that certain people came up in the Middle East, and even in Asia, is just totally different from how it is in America and in Europe. So it's just really a matter of understanding that there's different cultures in the world. If you don't understand it, learn it, or find a way to understand it, or if that's not your cup of tea, it's okay that person can be able to exercise that culture without it affecting you.
Who's your emergency contact?
Right.
And it's my wife.
Always gonna be the first wife, no matter what.
So the first wife, which is the first one that was
Period.
You were married to.
Period.
Okay.
That's always, because that one is the reason why you even got 1, 2, or 3. She's the queen.
Interesting.
Period. You got to know that.
So does the first wife have to approve?
Nobody
the second and
violates
third?
wife number 1. The moment they violate, out the door.
Okay.
Hands down. If you don't understand that, it's entertainment.
Okay. I'm gonna use this.
Oh, that's our new line.
I'm gonna say that's entertainment. Look, I'm gonna tell my kids this too.
Yeah.
Look.
Period. She comes first.
Okay, but see, I didn't know this.
Yeah. Period.
I didn't know this.
She comes
So,
first.
okay, so I get it. So the structure is more hierarchical. Like she comes first, the others.
Yeah, because there's levels in the end. You know, like she's the one that's actually sacrificing in the end. You know what I mean? Because with new people, a part of your family, there's going to be new attitudes, new mindsets, new behaviors. And they got to deal with that. Okay. Only so that you can be able to do what you need to do as a man. But more than anything, it's a level of happiness that comes with that too. So they got to help preserve even that happiness so they can even stay happy.
All right.
So yeah, they're the queens for sure. Wife number 1.
You are in a polyamorous relationship with 3 women.
Yes.
All right now. All right. Now, Ne-Yo, I've always wondered, I just don't understand how this works. You've got to explain to me, how does this work with 3 women?
Okay. Well, which part exactly don't?
None of it. I've never been. I don't like just the day-to-day stuff. How you decided to get into it?
Okay. Well. So I'll keep this brief. So after my very public, very ugly divorce, I made the decision that I was never going to tell another lie to a woman ever again in life. I own the things that I did in that marriage to mess it up. I own it completely, and I decided I didn't want to be the reason that anybody ever felt like that ever again. So I went to one of the women, one of the 3 I've been with a little longer than the other one. So I basically went to her and said, listen, I rock with you, I love you, But I have to be honest with you. It's not just you. I would love for you to meet these other women, and if we can figure out a way to do something together, cool. If not, that's cool too. I let her decide. I let them choose. Everybody chose to stick around.
Okay.
And so now it's just a matter of, so I think the main understanding is I'm not in 3 relationships. I'm in 1 relationship with 3 people.
1 relationship
Yes.
with 3 people.
Yes, and
So-
we figure out ways to make everything work. Of course, everybody gets their individual time, but group time is just as important as individual.
And they date other men.
No.
No. And no is why.
No is because, okay, so here's the thing. I've made no request for exclusivity of any of these women. I've never said, if it ain't me, it ain't nothing. I've never said that. I didn't ask for them to be with me. They said they want to be with me. Okay, they gave me their exclusivity, meaning if you gave it to me, it's mine.
All right.
And that's that. Now, if it was the other way around, I deal in partnership as opposed to ownership. I don't want to own you. I don't want to possess you. I want a partner in this, and we can partner and work it out that way. But if the exclusivity is mine, then it's mine. Damn it, you ain't giving it to nobody else. It's mine. Gave it to me, it's mine. What you want?
When I watched the clip of Ne-Yo and his 3 girlfriends in Paris, it reminds me of Hugh Hefner and the Girls Next Door, Holly Madison, Bridget McGuire, and Kendra Wilkinson, when they all traveled to Paris when Hugh Hefner turned 80. He was one of the celebrities that was in a polyamorous relationship in 2005. They were the stars of E! Television before the Kardashians. Here's a clip of them in Paris.
And it's and the grapes and the cakes. Hey, come on in my house, come on.
Like, I wanted to be non-monogamous since I was like 19, you know, but it took a minute for me to be for real. A few things that like kind of stopped me in my tracks, but the one thing that like I could not get past was like, I know I'm jealous. Like, I know I have a jealous side. I know I can be possessive. I know it can be a little, you know, I'm a Scorpio. I know it can be ugh. And finally, I was 26. I came out of a real bad abuse relationship, and I was like, I'm never dating and have a relationship style that I am not interested in, that I do not want. I owe it to myself to try this out and just to see. So girls, sit with your fucking jealousy and figure out what the root is. Why would you be jealous? And I kid you not, that took 5 to 10 minutes of thinking about, and it clicked that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be non-monogamous. And I have been non-monogamous, now polyamorous, since then. And I really don't even see myself coming back or going back to monogamy. But the thought was, I realized that my jealousy was rooted in insecurity. That the thought exercise I put myself through was like, how would I feel if my partner had somebody else or found someone else, slept with someone else? I would feel like I'm replaced. I would feel like they don't love me, they don't want me anymore. Am I actually upset about them having another experience with somebody? And the answer was no. The only issue I had was, I feel like I'm going to be replaced, or I feel like they're not going to want me because of that, or I feel like I'll need reassurance. And once I realized that my jealousy wasn't about like being mad about them doing what they want to do, and I actually realized, oh, I have excitement, I have compersion, I have interest, I feel excited for them when they do that, I was like, oh, so my jealousy really doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. It has to do with I'm not feeling good within my partnerships. That's a me and my partner issue. That's me, and that's between A and B. You know what I mean? And that actually has rung true in non-monogamous dynamics, and like me being polyamorous, having multiple partners at once, not having partners and just dating. That has rung true, where like the moments that I've gotten jealous have been because I was feeling insecure, I was needing reassurance, or we weren't good. That's really been the moments. The scenario wouldn't change. So if it's like, I have a partner, my partner goes on a date, and my partner goes do an activity with somebody, one moment I could feel really happy for them, conversed, excited, maybe a little aroused, depending on what it is. And then the next time that same thing could happen, and I could feel jealous or possessive or like I'm going to be replaced. The thing that shifted or changed was not the action, was not them going on the date, was nothing that they did. Me and my partner shifted. Something in our relationship shifted to where I have these feelings of jealousy and anxiety and insecurity. Literally something clicked for me the moment I thought about that and was like, oh, I ain't going back.
Lauren, what do you think about polyamorous relationships? Let me tell you, I'm going to say my opinion clearly. I do not believe that anybody is built for it, and I don't believe that it works long term. Now, before people get emotional about that, okay, let me just define the difference, because a lot of people don't even understand the terms that they're defending. I live in a monogamous relationship. That means one man, one woman, choosing each other emotionally, sexually, and relationally. Two people investing their time, energy, and loyalty and intimacy to the bond. Polyamory means multiple romantic or sexual partners at the same time. In theory, everyone's aware, but awareness doesn't remove the psychological consequences. So here's where it gets a little uncomfortable. Polyamory is often marketed as emotionally evolved, progressive, or enlightened. But when you actually look at the psychology behind human attachment, that's not what it supports. Human beings bond through pair bonding. When two people consistently invest into another, the brain releases the bonding chemicals like oxytocin that strengthens that bond. But when intimacy is spread across multiple partners, the brain doesn't deepen the attachment. It actually dilutes it. Instead of depth, you get fragmentation. Instead of security, you get comparison. Instead of stability, you often get jealousy, anxiety, and power dynamics. And this is the part that people really don't like to hear. A lot of polyamorous relationships, it's not about having emotional maturity. It's about avoiding discipline in actual relationships. Commitment requires restraint. It requires sacrifice. It requires choosing one person, even when novelty and temptation shows up. Polyamory removes that structure. And when the structure disappears, so does the depth. People say it's about freedom, but freedom from commitment often just becomes like permission for those impulses. And most of the time, one person in that dynamic is tolerating it more than they truly want. So you don't just hear about that part as much, right?
So many people think that polyamorous folks are just out there sleeping with everybody willy-nilly, and like it's not really how it goes, right? And we are definitely staying safer than the vast majority of monogamous people that are single and dating and sleeping with a new person every week or multiple times a week. Like, we know what happens, guys. Like, don't try to pretend you're better than that. But at least in the poly community, there is a prevalence of healthy testing habits where people are getting tested very, very regularly. And I think at minimum that should be every 3 months. Depending on how many partners you have in that span. Like, if you aren't dating anybody, then obviously you probably don't need to. But if you are actively dating or actively have more than one partner, I think testing every 3 months is a very good practice if you are continuously adding others. Now, most people aren't doing that, though. Even when I was solo poly, I tended to not have more than 2 partners at one time. So it was never really concurrent. And then presently, yes, because we do practice polyfidelity in a closed throuple, we don't worry about that at all. So I think everybody has to develop their own boundaries. Again, we talk about that, but developing your own boundaries surrounding your own personal health and safety to know what you are comfortable with. Most people that I encountered, that I've talked to in terms of dating, again, I only talked to people with really strong boundaries. That was very important to me. If they didn't have strong boundaries of their own, I didn't really want to get engaged with that. So those people often had very regimented plans of how things would work before things got physical. There would be testing shared amongst everybody that was at all involved or on the peripheral. That just always gave me a lot of peace of mind. Because they were so fastidious with all of their other boundaries, I never had a problem trusting that they were being honest about that. If you are having trouble trusting your partners, or being able to believe that they are being honest and sticking with the plan, then that speaks to a greater problem, I would think, that needs to be addressed with those partners, because we want to be able to have full trust in our partner. If there's anything in your gut saying that you can't trust them, maybe we reevaluate not only that partner, but our intimate time with them as well. Maybe we go back to definitely always using protection.
Polyamorous relationship, it's not for everybody. It doesn't matter how good the communication is or the dynamics of the relationship. Some people will not accept it as normal because of their beliefs and values. In some part of the world, it's normal. It's been like that since the beginning of time. Hence, Akon's comments about try to understand the culture or learn it. If it's not your cup of tea, then it's okay. Akon's and Ne-Yo's relationship, it's a good example of polyamorous relationship in some part of Africa and the Middle East. It's centered around the man. The man can have multiple partners, but the women can't. The rules are for the women. I understand that it's not one size fits all. There's boundaries, effective communication, and honesty, which is one of the reasons why Ne-Yo decided to be in a polyamorous relationship. He said he doesn't want to lie to any woman. However, it takes an immense effort for everyone in the relationship to feel desired and secure. Holly Madison was Hugh Hefner's #1 girlfriend. She spoke about how manipulative it can be to be in a polyamorous relationship. She's done few interviews where she talked about it in details. She said it's not all fairy tales and freedom. I guess it worked for some people. It works for Akon and his 4 wives and Ne-Yo with his 3 girlfriends. Is it for you or not your cup of tea? Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.